Hello, hello. Welcome in, everyone. Today, we are playing Jump King. I'll have music today. It's, yeah, I mean, it's been a while. So, there is a non-zero chance that I've lost all muscle memory and I'm about to, just lose progress today. Very, very likely. Although, it seems even last time I played this, I fell back to Bargenberg, where we are now. But yeah, we'll see if we can actually make any progress today, or we'll just lose everything. Okay, that's not very surprising. Oh yeah, here we go. This is the beginning of the end, potentially. But yeah, something I wanted to talk about today is a book that I read yesterday, which I enjoyed, and it was volume 13 of Grimgar of Fantasy and Ash. I've mentioned it a couple times, but yeah, I was, I felt like reading a new book. And so I was kind of looking up, volumes of stuff that I had read previously. And then I saw actually that volume 13 was kind of on sale. Because usually light novels are around $20 Canadian. But this one was actually more like 15. So I was like, sure, why not? It had been a while since I had read a new volume of Grimgar. I'd probably read oops, that was the wrong direction. Or well, I probably I volume 12, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. It's been a while. And then I even I reread the whole series as well, at least what I had. Oh, thank you for the lurk train. I appreciate it. I hope you have a good day. But yeah, it had been a while since I had gotten a new volume of that series. And I think the main reason why I stopped reading is because I didn't really enjoy volumes 10 to 12-ish. Yeah, volumes 10 to 12 as much as the previous volumes. I wasn't as interested in their stories, and I think they also spent more time kind of following POVs of certain characters that I wasn't really interested in, to be honest. But I read all of volume 13 yesterday because I actually enjoyed it quite a lot. I think my favorite part of the series previously was I guess I should actually explain what the series is even about. But it's an isekai in a pretty standard fantasy world, except that the group that it follows all suck. They are all very much not suited to fighting monsters and stuff. And so that's sort of where the interesting story comes in, where it's these people kind of just struggling to make ends meet in this world and slowly but steadily improving. But but also just going through a bunch of like hardships, you know, along the way, and people dying. But yeah, probably like my favorite part of the series, I think it was like volume 8 or 9, where they were stuck in this other world where it's like eternally night, and they were basically just like completely isolated. There were no humans or even just like monsters or people that they could like communicate with. Because even when there were other creatures and people, non-human people, like they couldn't understand each other due to a language barrier. And so yeah, it was basically just them being like completely isolated in this alternate world that is forever nighttime. And they spent like 200 days there. So I found the pacing was also quite good. Because sometimes like it can often like linger on awkward moments, I guess, in the story for quite a while. I did that again, where I just jumped in the wrong direction. Because like the main character is a very awkward person, and they kind of lean into that a lot, where like, you know, he's trying to communicate and stuff, but like he does a pretty poor job of it. And it just comes across, you know, it's super awkward, which like is interesting. I think that's like a good character flaw to have. And they actually like focus on it in a meaningful way. But sometimes it can be a bit much. And so yeah, that also kind of helped with that storyline, I think, where like compared to all the other volumes, it followed a pretty like significant length of time. And so it didn't quite like, you know, dwell on every single awkward moment as much as other volumes. And yeah, I just found it interesting because like the world building, I think, is one of the best parts about the series. And so, yeah, especially when they're like exploring other worlds, there's often a lot of like interesting things in those places where like the Grimgar is basically like a standard fantasy setting with, you know, a bit more like gritty realism, I guess, compared to other isekais, but still fairly standard. And then yeah, in all these like alternate worlds and stuff that they find themselves in, there's often some like very interesting differences that make them stand out. And that is also why I quite enjoyed volume 13 more than the volumes that came before it. Because I think the author might agree with me how yeah, that sort of story arc of them being stuck in a different world might have been like the high point of the series, because now they found themselves stuck in a different alternate world. But I mean, I'm all for it because it's actually pretty messed up in there. Like I thought a different world that was like forever nighttime with nobody that they could communicate with, you know, that was pretty bad enough. But now they're in a world that is like actively driving them insane, like literally messing with their way of thinking to the point where their self-identity and stuff is like being eroded essentially, and their memories are like becoming hazy. And to top it all off, if they fall asleep, which it's kind of there's a lot of different like fundamental like rules, I guess, in this world. because they don't actually need to eat or sleep to survive. Even though they will still feel hunger, they won't die from it. But there's also like a phenomenon that will force them to go to sleep if they like inhale the air of it. And if they do fall asleep, then the world will like cause their dreams to leak into reality, essentially, and like create monsters of like whatever they dream about. So yeah, very psychological, basically, is like the primary thing that they're dealing with right now. And yeah, I mean, like the start, maybe like the first half of the volume did start kind of slow because they had basically left off where they had just completed this other like kind of standalone adventure, I guess, in the previous volume. And then they now had like more money than they had ever seen in their life, basically, from doing that. And they're trying to get back home because ever since they were stuck in that forever nighttime world, when they finally made it out, they realized they were still like far away from like their home city, basically, where they had originally arrived upon being isekai'd. And so yeah, that's basically like the overarching story at this point, is just they're trying to make their way home. And so yeah, they're trying to get home, but they're also being very cautious, you know, because they're carrying so much money. They don't want anyone to know, basically, because then they might get robbed, since they still kind of suck. But because of that, they kind of go with this like weird eccentric guy to travel back to their city, and then that ends up backfiring because like his like curiosity and stuff ends up making them fall into this other world where they are now stuck. And honestly, that guy was pretty annoying. One bad thing about the series is that the author kind of loves having like obnoxious characters. There used to be like a super obnoxious character in their group, but has since like split off from them, which honestly, like, good. He was so annoying. But they always seem to like add other characters as like a stand-in, sort of. And so yeah, the merchant was pretty annoying. But good news is that he dies. Maybe that's bad to say. But in the other world, he like gets turned into this like horrible octopus like abomination thing. But then when they kill that, he does turn back. But unfortunately for him, he stepped on a flower, and so was killed by flower blight Ganon. I'm not even like exaggerating. The author must have played Breath of the Wild before writing this, because there is a character in this other world who just has this humongous flower field and like a small path through it, and nobody is allowed to trample on the flowers, or else she will kill them. And so yeah, that's how the merchant goes. But yeah, another thing that I like, I feel like or well, there were moments when reading where I thought the author was actually kind of improving on some things that did, you know, bother me in previous volumes. They do kind of have a bad streak when it comes to like how they write their female characters, and also like depictions of like gender non-conforming people. Second one was probably like the worst thing, because I mean, like, a lot of their female characters lacked the same depth as the male characters, but they weren't like overtly sexist at the very least. Yeah, I feel like they're slowly getting more fleshed out, which is good. And then as well, in this other world, the main character meets this person who's kind of like, I mean, this is how I read them. I read them as like a non-binary person. Because basically, like, the main character is like not sure, you know, like what gender they are and stuff, because they're wearing like kind of like a baggy raincoat, and also like a mask on their face. And then he kind of just like straight up like asks, like, you know, I assumed you're a woman, but like, sorry if you're not, basically. And then they responded like, does it matter? Does it matter whether I'm a man or a woman? And the main character is kind of just like, I guess not. And that's actually just where they leave it, which I can honestly respect. Like, I feel like if it had been like an earlier volume, they might have had some line where it's like, oh, like, no, I'm a girl, or like, how dare you not know that I'm a girl, you know, something along those lines. But instead, it's just kind of up to reader interpretation for the most part, like how they identify. It's just like, does it matter? No, it just doesn't matter at all to either person, which is good. And yeah, the more I thought about it, actually, like with this character, the more I could see like a trans reading from them, which probably is not the author's intention. But like, I don't know, who cares, right? After I started thinking about it, I kind of came up with my own headcanon. And you know, if it makes me enjoy the story more, then that's what I'll think. So basically, like, the rundown of this character is that they were they were in the regular modern day world, and they kind of grew up being bullied a lot. And how to explain this? I should have thought about this more, but like, basically, I guess an important part as well, before I get into my headcanon stuff, I'll lay the groundwork of what the story actually does. But basically, like, they go by a different name than their birth name. They go by Alice C. And in their own words, they say that that name probably suits them better than the one their parents gave them. And so, yeah, that was like a big thing for this headcanon, you know, going by a different name than their birth name. And yeah, essentially, like, they were bullied a lot as a kid. And they were actually called Alice as kind of part of that, because didn't go super into specifics, but it was basically because of like a book that they read a lot. Most likely Alice in Wonderland, but we don't actually know for sure. Whoops. And then, yeah, they also have lines talking about how, like, they don't really like how they look, but at the same time, like, can often, like, how to say this? Like, they don't like how they look, but they still look in the mirror a lot and can still find some things that they like about themselves, which I thought was interesting, because honestly, I can relate to that. Like, I also don't like the way I look, but at the same time, I know that I'm not, like, ugly or anything. Oops, that was bad. And there are some parts of myself that I do like. Probably the biggest thing would be, like, the way my eyes look. Not how they function, because I'm literally functionally blind. But according to, like, law and stuff, without my glasses, I'm considered blind. So yeah, definitely not the way they function. But the way they look is nice. I actually have, like, the longest eyelashes out of everyone in my family, actually. And it's like, yeah, sometimes I wonder just, like, how my eyelashes are so long. Because it's honestly to the point where, like, someone might mistake it for using, like, extensions or something. Or even, like, eyeliner. That's kind of how long they are. But anyways, it's kind of going off topic. So yeah, this character kind of put up with the bullying a lot. Eventually kind of, like, learned to cope better with it and stuff as they got older. But then unfortunately found themselves stuck in this weird, bizarro dream world. And has been there for, like, a long time. Although time is actually also messed up in this world. You can't really accurately tell time. And they kind of describe it as, like, both an eternity and an instant, like, at the same time, basically. But yeah, so my headcanon about this character is that they're, like, a trans woman, or, like, non-binary trans feminine person. And basically they were, like, bullied as a kid because of that. And maybe called Alice out of basically, like, an insult, like calling, you know, like, a boy, like, feminine or gay or whatever. Basically used as, like, an insult like that. But after coming to this world, they kind of, like, I guess, embraced that part of them. And then also because the world is, like, it's kind of shaped by, like, your mind, people's minds and like subconscious and stuff to the point where like even their physical forms can change. I thought maybe like their form changed more to reflect their actual like personality and stuff, to be more feminine, essentially. Cause yeah, the main character almost like went insane as soon as like he wakes up here. He's losing his sense of self. And then this monster like makes him like grow like fur and like claws on his hands and stuff. And so without Alice, he would be absolutely screwed and already dead. But luckily for him, you know, he's the main character. He gets plot armor privileges and stuff, I guess. People can bail him out for his own weaknesses. Of course, I missed the second jump, the easier jump. I'm trying to resist the urge to say I'm doing better than I thought I would. Because I know as soon as I say that, I'm going to like drop all the way down to the sewers again. Case in point. This literally always happens. I shouldn't have said anything. I'm not doing better than I thought. In fact, I'm doing worse. But yeah, another thing that actually stood out to me, which was not the writing, but actually the art in the novel. It is a light novel, but it has like a few pictures in it. But basically, one of the characters in the party has kind of always been like self-deprecating and stuff, and has like called herself like fat and stuff. But whenever they actually like draw her, then all it is that like she has like big boobs, but like is skinny otherwise, which is like, you know, unfortunately common for animes. But it was still just like, you know, that's one of the reasons why I'm kind of like hesitant to recommend this series as well. Because yeah, it has some issues kind of along those lines of just like, that's not so great. Not so great depictions, you know, of people. But actually for the first time in one of the arts of this volume, that character was drawn with actually a bit of pudge to her. Still not like fat by any means, but like, you know, it was at least more realistic than like just literally just her boobs being big. Hello, Majlis. Welcome in. Good to see you. You joined at an interesting time, describing how a character's boobs were drawn in the latest novel that I've read. Wait, what did you say before I hopped in? Yeah, I'm talking about how I read volume 13 of Grimgar of Fantasy and Ash all yesterday. Yeah, I've mentioned the series like a couple times previously. There are some things that I really like about it, and then there are just like objectively like questionable things, writing decisions, and like depictions of people. But I was talking about how in this volume in particular, there are actually like a few times where I feel like they've actually improved in that aspect. I was talking about a character who's like depicted more like non-binary, which is cool, and like done in a way where it's like mostly up to like reader interpretation, which is like good, because I can actually kind of get like a trans woman or like non-binary trans feminine person kind of headcanon from how this character is. But anyways, right now I'm also talking about how one of the characters who is basically like self-deprecating and stuff, and who has like called herself fat on like multiple occasions previously, for the first time ever was like actually drawn with like a bit of pudge to her, like in her like thigh and like stomach and stuff, rather than just having like humongous boobs, as was the case previously. And so yeah, like I appreciated that. Like, it's still like she's by no means like fat at all still, but at the very least she has like a bit more realistic body proportions. To the point where, you know, like someone with like low self-esteem and stuff, and that sort of body type could maybe like, you know, think of themselves as like overly like chubby or something like that. But, you know, thankfully no other character is like mean to her about it. It's basically just her own self-deprecation. So yeah, maybe there's some hope. Oops. Maybe there's some hope for this author to improve upon past mistakes. And honestly, since the whole series is like from a very subjective perspective, like it's all from the main character's point of view and stuff, and so like his way of thinking and like his impressions of other people are basically like how they're described in the book. And so if he actually like is written as a more open-minded person, that could actually be like a pretty good like character arc for him. Because even in other ways too, he's kind of like thinking about how he used to believe that like all orcs and undead and stuff were essentially just like monsters, like enemies of humanity essentially. But after a few volumes where he's met a lot of other orcs and like other non-human characters and stuff, he's basically learned that they are intelligent races, basically on the same level as humans. And like the biggest obstacle is just like their appearances, differences in appearance, and like language barriers. So, you know, like that's good. Some maturing happening. Always a fan. But yeah, in this non-binary character, Oh, I don't think I've seen this part. Oh, in Jump King. I have been here before, but it is like... Yeah, it is like nearing new territory. I've gotten like a few screens above this, I think. But yeah, hopefully I can actually make a bit of progress here. Assuming I don't fall all the way down back down to the start of the game. But yeah, this non-binary character, I like them a lot. 'Cause like, basically they're like wearing like a big raincoat and have like a mask over their face. And so the main character isn't like sure like what gender they are. And so they kind of just like ask straight up. And then they respond with like, does it matter? Does it matter if I'm a man or a woman? And then the main character just says, oh, I guess not. No, it doesn't really matter. And that's just where they leave it. Which honestly, like, I think that's good. And then as well, there are other things that I'll get into, but like, yeah, I like how the main character is just like accepting of that answer, doesn't like press any further. I kind of get the sense that like this character would be fine like with like any pronouns basically, or any like way that people look at them. And then yeah, their name Alice is actually not their birth name too. Basically in their own words, I think they basically said like it suits them better than the name that their parents gave them. Which gives like, you know, like big trans vibes, you know. So now I kind of have, yeah, like a headcanon where they are like, you know, either non-binary or like trans, like feminine, trans woman, or just non-binary, trans feminine. Because they're also like bullied as a kid and they don't like their appearance. Or rather, like overall they don't like their appearance, but at the same time there are like some things that they do like about themselves. And they used to like kind of like look in the mirror and stuff a lot, which I can relate to. I don't know, even if you don't really like what you see, it's kind of hard not to look in the mirror a lot. At least for me. And yeah, right now the story, like, the characters are in this, like, this different world that is, like, super messed up and stuff. It's, like, it's driving them crazy, and it's very, like, influenced by people's, like, minds and subconscious and stuff, and dreams, to the point where it can actually, like, affect, like, their physical appearances and stuff. And so then my headcanon is kind of like this trans person who was like in the regular modern day world previously, after they found themselves in this strange dream world place. Then maybe their physical appearance kind of altered to better reflect their personality and stuff. Because I mean, that is like the one thing. It's like, this is like the first kind of like, I would say like good representation of like a gender non-conforming character that the series has done. But at the same time, they're also still just this like conventionally attractive, like feminine person, you know? So it is a step forward, but at the same time, like, I don't know if like, if the author would be capable of writing this kind of character if they weren't just like conventionally attractive from as like a feminine person. But yeah, I mean, TLDR, I enjoyed this volume a lot more than the last few volumes. I think like 10 to 12 I didn't enjoy as much as previous volumes, but 13 was good to the point where I actually want to get volume 14 pretty soon so I can know what happens in this alternate world. I say alternate world, but like it's like, I don't know, it's like it's just a different world, a different dimension maybe. They don't have like alternate versions of the same characters or anything like that. It is just a different world with different fundamental rules and physics and stuff. And magic. Oh yeah, I wanted to talk more about this last stream, but then it completely slipped my mind. Did anyone like buy anything for Black Friday / Cyber Monday? I actually bought a new wireless mouse, which I like a lot. Because I kind of like, I mean my PC setup, it's set up in a way where I have this like kind of this desk that is like on wheels basically. Not a big desk, it's like it's just for like my keyboard and mouse essentially. But because I kind of like changed the location of my desk depending on whether like I'm streaming or not, I found I was dropping my mouse quite a lot because of cords getting like stuck on things and whatnot. Oh no. Oh no. And so yeah, having a wireless mouse is really nice. Because now it's much easier to move it around and stuff and like, yeah, not drop it. I've not dropped the new mouse a single time. So far, at least. Hopefully it stays that way. And then, my brother actually bought a Steam Deck for Black Friday because they had like a 20% off deal on like the base model. Which honestly, in the current, day and age of all technology being extremely overpriced, it's kind of like a miracle that the Steam Deck is still the same, very low price, and can do these like huge sales and stuff. It is pretty old now. Like it won't really be able to handle most like AAA modern games going forward. But it can still play like the majority of like games on Steam. And my brother mostly just plays like World of Warcraft and like Minecraft. And right now he's playing Dark Souls 3 actually, which I'm happy about because I love Dark Souls 3. And he's enjoying it a lot too so far. But yeah, I thought the Steam Deck was like a good choice for him, given the price and the type of games that he plays. So he's pretty happy with it. Yeah, my family has mostly finalized our Christmas plans. Kind of talking about it in my family like group chat and stuff, since I live with my brother. But we're all going to visit our parents' place, the place where we grew up. And yeah, my oldest brother, who lives pretty far away, is staying for like a week there. And so yeah, me and my brother will also visit for like a pretty good length of time. My brother will work from home, or well, like work remotely at my parents' place for like the first few days, and then he'll get time off for the holidays and all that. So yes, my family will be all together again. All 6 of us. Which makes for a pretty crowded house, given that we're all fully grown adults now. But it'll be a fun time. I think my oldest brother is also actually his girlfriend is going to be part of the visit too. And she's nice. I feel like you have to be a little bit strange to get along well with my family. We're kind of all a bunch of weirdos, I'll be honest. But yeah, she gets along well with everyone, which is good. And so yeah, I think me and my brother will go there on the 18th. Like the evening of the 18th. Which actually, I should check like what day that even is. The 18th is a Thursday, apparently. So yeah, he might only work on like the 19th, and that's it, I think. If that's the case. Because I think he has like the last 2 weeks of December completely off. But yeah, so we'll go there on the 18th, and then I probably won't be streaming like maybe until the new year, honestly. Since like, I mean, we have family events on the 23rd through the 25th. And then my oldest brother and his girlfriend are actually like going on vacation. They're flying somewhere warm, but I don't quite remember which country exactly. But me and my other brother will probably still stay for a few more days after that. Oops. That wasn't good. So yeah, potentially like 18th to maybe even the start of January. I will not be streaming. I will be on Christmas vacation, spending time with my family and stuff. Eating too much food probably, because my family is like, just like obsessed with food. The problems when you have a big family where everyone, literally everyone, is good at cooking. I don't think there's a single person in my family who isn't good at cooking. Which is like awesome, but also like we sometimes eat too much at family gatherings. There's kind of a lot of food around Christmas. But it'll be fun. Oh, come on. Of course, I always fail like the easier jumps. Oh my lord. Now, this is what I was expecting. Honestly, because it's been so long since I played Jump King, I basically like lost all of my muscle memory. So I was expecting this, but it still hurts a little an hour into stream. But, yeah. Yesterday... It's the holidays at least, if there's ever a time for too much food. Yeah, very true. I think everyone... Well, everyone who is privileged enough at least, I think probably eats too much food around the holidays. It's that time of year. Something about, you know, the cold, I think also factors in. But yeah, it'll be a good time. But yeah, yesterday I talked with my counselor / therapist and stuff. Since we have like, I guess we see each other maybe like every 2 months or so. But I guess like the topic of discussion was kind of like my current mood. I feel like I'm probably going through a bit of like seasonal depression. I think I usually get a bit sadder this time of year. It's pretty common given like the lower amount of like sunlight and everything. A lot of people kind of get seasonal depression in the winter. But yeah, I think it was like really affecting my motivation. Where I was honestly considering like whether I want to like continue streaming or like how long I would want to continue streaming for. But I think I found a bit of resolve to do it. This will happen, you know. It's bound to happen every now and then, especially with me and my mental state. But yeah, at least for now, I'm doing okay. And like, I mean, I want to try to put more effort, I guess, into improving my conversation skills. Because like, I don't know, something annoying about myself is that I give up too easily. Like if I'm not good at something immediately, then like I start to lose interest pretty quickly. Which, you know, is not great. It's kind of like, it's a mix of just having like a general lack of interest in things. And also getting like good grades in school without putting in too much effort. I think it's pretty common for kids like that to kind of develop like bad habits when it comes to trying new things and like not being good at them immediately. Makes them lose interest. But yeah, for me, it was kind of like talking on stream, I guess. Honestly, I wasn't too happy with how I talked last stream. There were a lot of things that I forgot to talk about, which I meant to. And then also just in general, I feel like I don't know, I'm pretty like boring, I feel like. And it's hard for me to find things to talk about for any significant length of time. So like I was honestly considering like maybe I should like try to memorize conversations. I know that sounds maybe not so great. Like I would just be acting a pre-thought out conversation, which like I guess I kind of would be. But if I'm actually like serious about wanting to improve my social skills, I feel like that would actually be like a logical step forward, considering I've been struggling to go based purely on vibes alone. I'm not so cut out for just winging it, I guess. At least it's not something that I can consistently rely on. Sometimes I am happy with like how much I talk and like certain conversations and stuff can just naturally come forth. But yeah, it's when my mind goes blank. Like when I forget about the topics that I thought of beforehand to talk about on stream. And yeah, and then I end up kind of just like repeating whatever is happening on screen. Like, oh wow, that happened. That's crazy. Might be worth writing them down, having topics put down on a notepad or something. Yeah, I've been thinking that too. Like, I kind of want to get like sticky notes, like square sticky notes that I can like physically put on my monitor or like on the edges of my monitor. so that they're right there, right in my face. But yeah, like going one step further than that would be like actually like thinking about like an entire conversation potentially, or even like practicing or writing it out. I did that again. I keep jumping in the wrong direction there. But yeah, it's like it's not something that I would want to do like long term. Let's just say, like, assuming I were to keep streaming for like years, right? Like I would not want to like write down and memorize every single conversation for every single stream, you know? But like I think as maybe as like a stepping stone to improve my conversation ability to converse, maybe it's a good idea to do that at the start until I can actually like do it more naturally. I don't know. But yeah, at the very least, I should get some sticky notes and like write down topics and stuff like that. Oh right, it has been an hour. Okay, I think I will take my first stretch break. So I'll just be gone for a minute or two. Good time to get up and do anything you need. Grab a drink or a snack or anything. I will be right back. Hello, I'm back. Thank you for your patience. I also need to work on like my physical voice. I say that every time. But like I didn't practice at all when I took like a week and a half off streaming. And unfortunately, I think that did affect my voice. That's why it sounded like I had like a cold last stream. And it probably still sounds like I have a cold. Sigh. The Yeah, the most annoying thing about my voice is just that I have to like constantly practice. Your voice sounds a lot better this stream, actually. Oh, okay. That's good. I appreciate it. Yeah, honestly, like, I have considered if I potentially want to get like vocal cord surgery at some point in the future. Honestly, the biggest barrier is just the fact that like I need to see like a specific like voice trainer who actually like works with the program and stuff. Like I have to see someone like that for like a year or something before I'm like even eligible to get the surgery. And it's just like, that's just so annoying because the hospital is in Montreal, like Quebec. And so naturally that's also where like the majority of the voice trainers would be who actually like work with them. Yes, a specialist, but like, yeah, it's like not even just any specialist though, because like there are like a lot of voice trainers, right? Like you can probably find them in like any city, but like they have to also work with them specifically. Like I don't even know how to find them really to determine whether they could like they could act as that specific type of specialist. But yes, hello Death. It's good to see you. I hope you're doing well. But yeah, I mean, I used to believe like, I mean, I still do believe this, but like, my voice has like the capability of sounding like the way I want, or like sounding yeah, just sounding the way I like. But the problem is like consistency. Consistency is always like my biggest problem. Honestly, that's like a running theme with me. It doesn't even matter like what we're talking about. I can be very good at things, but not all the time. And I know like I'm capable of doing things, but not all the time. Sometimes only rarely. Like Jump King. I know I can beat the game. I know I could play perfectly. But the matter is consistency. Same, I'm good. That's good to hear. Oh, yeah, and then sometimes I literally just walk off the edge. But yeah, same thing like with my voice where like, I remember like my IRL friend at one point was kind of like interested in getting like vocal cord surgery at one point. And then, you know, like asked me if I would ever be interested. And then I answered her no. Because yeah, at the time it's like, I felt like given enough like practice and stuff, I know that I'm capable of liking my voice. But yeah, it's just so annoying having to like practice all the time and like I'm very shy and I don't like bothering people. So like I never want to do it when other people can hear me, essentially. That game would infuriate me eventually, the way you fall like that. Yeah, I mean, it's considered a rage game, but honestly, like, I find it kind of soothing. Like, I might be insane. Well, I am insane. That's not a question. But I might be in the very tiny minority of people who actually finds this game very like soothing and relaxing, and like not rage-inducing whatsoever. But you know, I'm like, I know I'm a bit of an odd one. How has your day been? It's been pretty good. I woke up at 8 o'clock, but I stayed in bed for like an hour, which is maybe not so good. In my defense though, the cuteness was like lying on my legs, and then also like cuddled with me too. So like, you must always give your time to the kitty, you know? But in my not defense, I was also like scrolling through Blue Sky, which I do too often in the mornings. I'm always just like, I always wake up tired. That's the problem. I don't want to get up. And so then I just look on my phone for a while. Everyone is insane in their own ways. Yes, indeed. Very true. And that's kind of great. As long as your insanity doesn't like harm other people, then I love insanity. I agree with that, yeah. That's like my fundamental stance on like all of my thinking and stuff, is just like, as long as things don't affect people negatively, like directly affect other people negatively, then I'm fine with anyone just doing whatever they want. But of course, the world is filled with people and systems that are designed to elevate the few at the cost of the many. Unfortunately. Yeah, true. Oh yeah, I asked this earlier, but did you buy anything for Black Friday / Cyber Monday death? I'm interested because like, I bought a new wireless mouse, which is helping me a lot since I kind of like, I move my like desk around quite a bit. It's like a portable, small desk on wheels. And I move it around depending on whether like I'm streaming or not. So yeah, having a wireless mouse has been good, so that the wires don't get tangled up, and like, yeah, I was dropping my older mouse quite a bit as a result of that. Can't make everyone happy. It's impossible. Everyone has their own opinions and ways of thinking. Yeah, especially like when it comes to like, you know, subjective preferences and stuff. Absolutely. There's no like one way that is like, you know, like there's no one preference that is better than others. When it just comes to like personal taste and stuff. So it is better to just do what you like, do what you enjoy, and try to find other like-minded people rather than trying to just appeal to, you know, the widest demographic and just be kind of like shallow as a result. No saving my money for a better computer, etc. Very understandable. Yeah, for the most part, like I don't spend money frequently. But then like every few years or so, I will have like a big purchase. But yeah, my brother also, he bought a Steam Deck on Black Friday because they were 20% off. And yeah, he's been enjoying it. He did already have like a gaming laptop already, which he got like a few years ago. But he also likes playing on like controller for the most part, and like yeah, wanted something that's like even more portable. That makes sense. It also allows you to build a nest egg in case anything happens in the future. Yeah. I mean, like, at the moment, I'll be honest, I barely have anything saved up. And the reason for that is that, like, I moved, or like, me and my brother bought a house together, like, a year ago. And have been living here since basically like the start of this year. It will soon be a year since we moved here. And yeah, that's basically like where all of my savings went. Since I have a very small like monthly income. And so, yeah, I basically just save up, like, over the course of several years, you know? And yeah, I'm slowly building up some savings again. But yeah, my like monthly expenses and stuff between like the housing, like mortgage and utility cost, and then also like groceries, I probably spent like 90% of my income just on like basic necessities. But like honestly, I'm okay with it as long as, you know, nothing crazy happens. If I end up getting in like a horrible accident, then like, yeah, obviously being super poor will not help me. But like in terms of just like living and stuff, I don't really need a whole lot. And I would rather not have to deal with what I consider to be like annoying and stuff. And I'm saying it very vaguely because I don't know how much information I want to give, but like yeah, basically I'm just if I can minimize things that I dislike, that's the most important thing. And even if I just have a very small income, that's kind of fine with me. I didn't even realize it was Cyber Monday. Yeah, I mean, it was wait, was it just last week? I guess so, yeah, because it's like the last the last week of November is like Black Friday. And then, yeah, Cyber Monday, I guess, was December 1st. Nice grats. Oh, thank you. Just don't do that and you will be fine. Yeah, just don't get in any accidents. You know? I mean, luckily I do live in Canada. So, you know, like, majority of healthcare related stuff is covered. Like, if I had to pay for like my, even just like my prescription medications and stuff, I would probably be in the negative, honestly. But luckily, I do not have to worry about that. I am very thankful for that. And yeah, I mean, everything about my income is reliant on like where I live and like government support and stuff. So yeah, I am very thankful for that I am able to live my life the way I do and not have to worry about monetary stuff. I like how you think. Yeah, I mean, it's like I do respect, and I'd be lying if I said I wasn't envious of people who can put up with a lot of stuff that like they don't necessarily like in order to just live, you know. But yeah, not worrying as much about that sort of thing and trying not to compare myself as much to other people has definitely like improved my mental state compared to how I was like several years ago. But yeah, do either of you have plans for the holidays that you're excited about? I was talking about how, yeah, I'm going to be visiting my family, staying at my parents' place / family house for like a couple weeks probably. My brother and I will go there on the 18th, and then yeah, I'm not entirely sure like how long I'll be gone. But it is very likely that like I won't be streaming until like possibly until after the New Year's. Which, I mean, it does make me think like maybe I shouldn't have taken like a week and a half off in at the end of November when I'm going to end up like being away for like another 2 weeks in December, but you know, whatever. It's fine. I was feeling kind of low motivation for a while. But honestly, like just yesterday. Like I woke up yesterday, I was like barely able to get out of bed. But by the end of it, I was talking myself, you know, into trying harder. Keep going, don't give up. Continue streaming, try to get better at talking. Don't worry about failure. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter if like if I fail or anything, or have like off days, time is like one of my biggest luxuries, I would say. I can just take things slowly, go at my own pace. I'm already at my mom's right now. Came early when the power went out at my place overnight. And just the house, which left me unable to sleep because I couldn't use my CPAP. Oh god. I'm sorry. Sorry to hear that. That's unfortunate. Unfortunate. But I hope that you're enjoying the stay at your mom's place, and yeah, hopefully can enjoy the holidays there. Self-care and mental health is important. You do what you need to do. Yeah, and like, I mean, everyone is different, right? Everyone has different levels of like care that they need to do, whether it be like, you know, physical or mental. And that's always important to keep in mind. If you do have, you know, a lot to deal with, don't always compare yourself to everyone else who may have less, you know, have more privileges and, you know, less things that they have to worry about. Or it's just, you know, like everybody's reaction as well is different. Their tolerance to negative things and problems that they must deal with. It's all just relative. No, I don't get along with most of my family, so I tend to stay away as much as I can. I'm sorry to hear that, Death. Yeah, I always feel bad for people with like, without, you know, support, without a supportive family. I think that must be very difficult. So another thing I'm very lucky about is that everyone in my family is like a good person for the most part. And yeah, my immediate family is also very like helpful for me. Even just like the fact that I live with my brother in a house that we bought. But like in reality, like he owns like 80% of it. I contribute about like 20% between like the initial payment and like the mortgage payments and stuff like that. But he's still, you know, he's good to live with, and he is also like thankful for me for like going in with him, since he wouldn't be able to afford the place on his own. And we really like it. So it works out. I'm playing Prime 4 right now. Oh, nice. How are you enjoying that? I've heard mixed things on it. The impression that I am most inclined to believe, you know, since there's no shortage of like rage bait content and all of that. The impression that I am most inclined to believe, I just walked off the edge, is that it has extremely high highs, but also very low lows. To the point where like I think the desert area in particular was like the biggest criticism I saw. Which like even just from watching a bit of like gameplay from it, like yeah, I can definitely see how a big empty desert that you're forced to traverse multiple times with no fast travel, I can see how that would get old very quickly. But like when it comes to like the actual game, you know, the levels that they actually worked hard on and the gameplay and everything, like that's all very good. It's just kind of dragged down by like unnecessary filler stuff that honestly, like, it's not crazy to think that, like, Nintendo executives might have just, like, had a direct hand in making that happen. You know, like, game must be X amount of hours for a playthrough. Game must have motorcycle so that we can sell motorcycle toys and amiibos and whatnot. But yeah, who knows? Who knows the exact details, but yeah. My feelings on Prime 4 are very mixed. There's things I like, things I dislike, things that break my heart. I'm tempted to call it the Force Awakens of the franchise, yeah, so I think that's probably the same kind of general opinion then. Where it's like, yeah, it's like the game could have been amazing, but it is dragged down by certain aspects of it. What do I know though? I didn't actually play it. I'm just going off of people's opinions who I can more or less trust / infer the truth from. The main areas of Prime 4 are a wet, foresty, jungly green area, a lava-filled area, frozen area, and a big deep mine where they unearthed what caused the plot of the game, which is all exactly the same as Prime 1, and like literally every like RPG ever. Green area, forest area, ice / water area, fire area, and earth area. Only the Avatar, master of all 4 elements, can stop the big bad. My main issue is this game has no faith in the player to figure things out. Handholds to a ridiculous degree. Oh, that's unfortunate. Because yeah, especially since like I feel like Metroid, you know, is a series that is in no small part defined by like the isolation of it and like the yeah, just like the trust that the game has in the player to figure things out without too many hints and stuff. Because I remember when I was younger, I literally couldn't finish Metroid games like Metroid Fusion and Metroid Prime 3 because I was too stupid, you know? But I don't hold that against the game. Like, that's just a skill issue on my part. But yeah, that's just unfortunate that kind of it fell into the modern gaming trap of playing the game for you for the first like 5 hours. And yeah, I've heard a lot of dislike for a certain NPC in the game. And like, I think a lot of it is just, like, blown out of proportion. At least from what I can piece together. But at the same time, even like the most charitable people, I feel like kind of think like the game would be better without that NPC. Like even in the best case scenario, the guy is still annoying. But yeah, absolutely blown out proportion. People goddamn lost their minds. Yeah, that is insane. I remember seeing like, I mean, first of all, before the game releases, there was just already so much like doom posting about it, about this one NPC. But I remember as well, like the day the game came out, which was like just a few days ago, I immediately saw this YouTube thumbnail that is like, Metroid Prime 4 is creatively bankrupt. And like the thumbnail is just like, it's bad in all big red letters. And it's like the game has been out for like maybe 4 hours. It's like, are you seriously trying to tell me that you played the entire game? You stayed up all night, played the entire game until like 5 in the morning. Then got all the footage, edited it all, and you've come to an actual logical conclusion that isn't just rage bait. Yeah, I don't think so. Pretty sure. Oh, I know that exact video. Pretty sure that person uses AI to make clickbait. Oh god. I should definitely I should hit the don't recommend channel button. But yeah, it's crazy. Nintendo hate is all the rage. And if they can also make loosely connected points about like, you know, modern wokeness and whatnot, then that's just like a bonus for them. I don't know if that video actually does that, but like there is a Venn diagram that is like almost a circle of people like that who dislike Prime 4. Not saying like everyone who dislikes Prime 4 is like that, but everyone who is like that probably is looking as hard as they can for things to dislike. If you don't like a game, don't play it, but at the same time, let other people enjoy the game for themselves. People don't like doing that. Yeah. I mean, it's like there is a place for criticism, right? I do. I'll be honest, I do enjoy watching, like, game reviews and stuff of games I haven't even played before. But yeah, the problem is just like the rage baity nature of the internet right now. Modern day internet is just like make up problems to get angry about. Blame said problems on whatever minority you don't like. So yeah, it's like, it's definitely important to keep in mind that a lot of people who do like, you know, quote unquote critical analysis are in fact just like grifters who are looking for things to dislike and trying to convince people that their problems are caused by, you know, insert whatever right-wing political ideology here. Criticism is one thing, raging on it, telling people about your rage is completely different. Yes, I agree. Yeah, I wish more people could, like, tell the difference between the two, you know? have a little bit of self-reflection. Maybe you don't have to actively search for people enjoying the game just to post your dissatisfaction with it. Maybe that's in fact extremely weird and immature and cringe. But yeah, it does make me wonder about the future of Metroid. Nintendo already doesn't have a lot of faith in the Metroid franchise because it's a beloved series, but it's mostly beloved in Western countries, and not Japan. And so yeah, to Nintendo, might as well just not exist. And then yeah, with Prime 4 being very, very mixed, having good things but also glaring issues. Ideally they would make a Prime 5 that, expands on the good, reduces the bad. But is Nintendo really going to greenlight that? I don't know. Might have to wait another 15 years or something. There's always someone raging about something. It's annoying. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely prefer, more positive, game reviews and critiques and stuff. Honestly, some of my favorite, long form videos and stuff, they aren't so much about trying to say whether something is objectively good or not, I find most of those types of critiques are usually not very well trusted or not very good to trust, because anyone trying to pretend that they're just completely objective on something is most likely just trying to push a narrative, and they'll say anything to make themselves seem objective. But what I like much more than that is analysis of something's themes, a show or movie or game's themes and characters and stuff, rather than just whether it is good or not. Because even in bad media, there can still be good elements. There's a YouTube video, sorry, not YouTube video, but YouTube channel called, what is it called? I think it's Implicitly Pretentious, I think is the name. But basically they do a lot of analysis on superhero media, mostly DC stuff, of TV shows and movies and stuff. And yeah, they don't focus on whether something is good or not. They kind of just try to find themes that the media explores, with the decisions that the characters make and stuff. It kind of it's hard for me to explain, but it's basically just much more subjective, and it's not trying to be objective. It's not trying to tell you whether something is good or not. It's just pointing out how certain interpretations can be made, and, you know, that can do nothing but improve your opinion of something. Basically, you can get newfound appreciation for something based off of, like, yeah, themes and interpretations that you might not have thought of before. For some reason, my room is like getting kind of hot. I don't know if today is like a warmer day than previously. It might be. But yeah, now I'm running out of things to say. I guess I never actually like fully finished my point, I guess. Or like my train of thought in terms of like vocal surgery. Because like, I mean, at the end of the day, like it won't, like for me at least, like I wouldn't expect it to like change my voice like completely, right? I feel like what I would want out of it is just that it like it would make it easier to make the kind of voice that I don't mind as much. Like it wouldn't strain my throat as much, hopefully. And it wouldn't be so inconsistent all the time. That's kind of why I would like potentially consider getting it at some point. Which like I do think it would help. I think potentially the only problem would be like maybe it reduces my vocal range. And honestly, I'm also like, I would also be a bit worried if it like made my voice too high. Because I honestly, like, I don't actually want like a high pitched voice. I kind of prefer like when women have deeper voices. Anyways, it's just very difficult to have like a deep voice that is still feminine, you know? It's kind of easier to just to raise the pitch along with it. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should like look into it more. See if there's actually any voice trainers who actually live like in the same city as me. Because if there are, then like honestly, I probably would be interested. But like I don't want to like travel, you know? I don't want to go to like a different city every week or two to meet with someone. I guess there's also the potential for like voice calls. Maybe. I don't know. I get that that's a lot of travel time, yeah. It's bad enough, like just going to the hospital, you know, for like trans-related surgeries and stuff. Cause it's in Montreal. And yeah, that is a long distance from me. I still have not made any progress. I'm basically exactly where I started the stream at. I don't like long distance travel. It's annoying to me, so I get it. Yeah. Traveling is definitely annoying. When I was younger, my family used to like go on like summer vacation road trips pretty much every year, which involved like a lot of driving. Cause my dad likes cars and driving and stuff. And I mean, everyone in my family is also just quite frugal. And so like, yeah, like it was always decided, you know, to go for road trips and stuff rather than like anything that required flying. Which, like, I mean, it was all well and good, right? I just walked off again. I think when I was younger, like, kind of both liked and disliked those road trips. Because, I mean, for one thing, it was kind of like at a time when, like, I didn't get along with my family, like, as well as I do now. For various reasons. And so, like, being packed with everyone in one car for tens of hours, you know, it was sometimes a bit rough. It's kind of also the reason why I have like tinnitus. That's what it's called, right? Like constant ringing in your ears. But basically, like, I have never liked listening to the radio because I've never liked the majority of pop songs. And so listening to the radio is like kind of torture for me. And so whenever my family, you know, put the radio on in the car, I would always like just absolutely blast my own music directly into my ears, like wearing headphones and stuff, just so that I could drown out the radio and listen to my music instead, my alt rock and Vocaloid music. But yeah, that definitely messed up my ears for sure. for the most part, like I mean, like I've long gotten used to it. I've literally had tinnitus until, like, since I was probably like early 10s, probably between like 10 and 12, I would guess, is when like I got it. So like I am used to it, but recently though, sometimes it seems to like get worse though. Like rather than just like have like a constant ringing, sometimes like it actually like muffles the sound that I hear. At least recently. Kind of like a new development. To where very occasionally, maybe like once a month or so, I will actually like not be able to hear as well for maybe like 20 or 30 seconds. While the ringing also gets worse. So yeah, I don't know. I should probably talk to like a doctor about that. That sounds like not so good when I say it out loud. I get random ringing in my ears, so I understand it to what degree I can. Yeah, it is annoying. Like I never don't have ringing in my ears. And then it's just very occasionally it becomes like it becomes like difficult to hear things. And the ringing gets worse, yeah. But yeah, try not to blast your music death. Or just listen, like, you know, try not to listen to super loud things with your headphones. Hopefully it won't get any worse ever. Yeah, as far as I know, like nothing can be done for it. As far as I know, like once the damage is done, like it's something you kind of just have to live with for the rest of your life, which like, I mean, thankfully it's not like the end of the world, right? At this point, it might even be like the majority of people who have tinnitus in, you know, in this day and age. The longest I've had it was a minute. That was a loud ringing. Mine comes from banging my head too much. Oh, sorry to hear that. My brother actually has like, yeah, like head-related problems due to injuries and concussions that he's had. He used to play football in high school, and like he got maybe like 2 or 3 concussions over the course of it all. But then he also got like another concussion after the fact. And then like that final one like really like messed his head up, unfortunately. Oh right, it's been another hour. Wait, this is like exactly... Oh, okay. If I had failed that jump, it would have literally been the exact same spot as I took my first stretch break. If I had fallen down. But this time I actually made the jump. So we can progress a little bit more. After I get back, I have epilepsy, so that's where my head injury is from. I had at least one concussion as well, so sorry to hear that, Death. Yeah, that is unfortunate. Yeah, I'll also try to always, like, keep that in mind, too, because, like, I mean, I never want to have, like, you know, flashing stuff on my stream. But on the off chance, you know, that I play, like, a game or something with, like, a sort of warning like that, I'll try to remember. Life, so I deal with it the best I can and keep going. Yeah, that's always what we gotta do. Just gotta keep going. But yeah, I will take a quick stretch break now. I'll just be gone for a minute or two, so it's a good time to get up and do anything you need to do. Oh, flashing lights don't affect me, so don't worry about it. Okay. Well, that's good at least. Yeah, I know, like, a lot of, like, you know, games and movies and stuff often don't really think about that sort of thing, how it can affect people who are sensitive to that, but that's good at least, that you don't have to worry about that. But yes, it is stretch time, so I will be right back. Hello, I'm back. Thank you for your patience. Oh yeah, something else. Something small that I just forgot to mention. That I'm using, like, my full screen game overlay. So there's no, like, Star Rail train background thing. But I was kind of just wondering, like, I don't know which is better, honestly. Because obviously this makes the game bigger, which is always good. But the good thing about having it be a bit smaller is just that, like, my model takes up less space on the game. Ouch. And yeah, also the chat too takes up, like, less space. But yeah, it's like, I don't know. I don't have, like, a whole lot to put on or like to cover that space is like the one problem. Like I have my little like word like banner thing in the bottom left, which I would usually just put to like put the game that I'm playing there. But yeah, I don't know if anyone has like a preference on the overlay that I use. It's better to just have like the game be full screen. That also makes things just like it just has less things to worry about, I guess. But in turn, I guess has like less personality, I suppose. For me, it's whatever works for you. All right. Yeah, I don't think it's like that big of a deal. I kind of just want to try this every once in a while to see how it feels. Yeah, I don't know. I think if I actually like commission some new like stream things, like a proper background, and like while I'm at it I should get like a new starting soon and end screen that aren't Star Rail related, which is unfortunate. Because like I do like how I made my own starting soon screen and end screen. Like I was quite happy with how they turned out. But since I've quit Star Rail now, it'd be kind of odd to keep them. Maybe I could find like a different series, or just like different footage that I could use to make a similar video. Yeah, if I think about it, there might actually be there probably would actually be enough like Fire Emblem stuff that I could use. And then also maybe like throw in a bit of Zelda in there. Since like Three Houses has a lot of cutscenes, and I would say even like Awakening, I could probably find some like up-resed like cutscene stuff, or like trailer footage to use. In terms of Zelda, I mean, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom obviously have like the best looking cutscenes in them, but those aren't really my favorite Zelda games, so I don't know if I would want to use them. I'd prefer using like Twilight Princess or something. But yeah, who knows? Maybe I could just stick with like Fire Emblem. Even though I've literally never played a Fire Emblem game on stream. I love Fire Emblem, but God, I need to get around to that. The idea that I had for like my next like big game to start would be Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, the GameCube game with Ike. Since I never played that, and you know, I've heard many good things, and I was also interested in maybe doing like an Iron Man run on my very first playthrough. So it'd be like a blind Iron Man playthrough, which, if you don't know, is basically just like no reloading in the game. So if a character dies, they're dead permanently. You don't restart or reload or anything. And like modern Fire Emblem games all have like a built-in rewind mechanic with like 3 houses and engage. You can basically go back like a set number of times every map where you can undo mistakes and all that. Which like I'm glad that they made that change. I think it makes it more accessible, and like at the end of the day, like the majority of people weren't doing Iron Man runs, you know. Most people would reload their save file if one of their units died, or like, yeah, if they made big mistakes. And so having it just kind of like built into the game with like, and not having to restart the entire level, I think is a positive change overall. But yeah, obviously in an Iron Man run, no doing that. But also Path of Radiance didn't have that yet anyway, so don't really have to worry about that. My one worry with playing a Fire Emblem game on stream is that I take really long on every single player phase. I don't know if you're familiar with like Fire Emblem gameplay, Death. But like it's turn-based tactical strategy game. And yeah, if you aren't careful, you can definitely like lose characters if you put them in like dangerous positions and they get attacked by a lot of enemies on the enemy phase. So yeah, generally like you want to kill as many enemies as possible on the player phase and also be out of range of as many enemies as possible. And yeah, the specifics differ from game to game, but that's like the general way to do things. Of course, there's also strategies where you just have like one or two characters with like insanely high defense or like evasion, who just like tank for you, basically. They pull the enemies, damage them on enemy phase, and then you can like finish them off with the rest of your characters. I don't really know how Path of Radiance's gameplay is, like what sort of metas that it incentivizes. Because Awakening was like heavy enemy phase gameplay, where you just have these crazy powerful units just run in without a care in the world and just sweep through all the enemies. At least in the end game. And then like Three Houses as well can be pretty heavily enemy phase based if you know what you're doing. Although I would say like in general it's maybe like mixed. Both player and enemy phase are pretty important in Three Houses. You can do like whatever suits your playstyle more. Fates and Engage are definitely more player phase focused, where the enemies are like quite dangerous and you definitely don't want to leave them to their own devices, or things can very quickly get out of hand. But yeah, I would say like I tend to prefer the player phase type strategies, where I send in all of my units, you know, to handle small batches of enemies at a time. And yeah, out of all the games I've played, I like Engage's gameplay the most. It's honestly like one of like the most fun games that I've ever played, like gameplay wise. In terms of story, I'm heavily biased for Three Houses. I love Three Houses. One, because like, yeah, I think like I played it, had a good time, you know. For the time that I played it in my life, it was the perfect game. And why am I forgetting words? I'm trying to remember a word right now. I feel like it starts with an R. Maybe? I can't believe I'm forgetting this. But basically, like, I connected, you know, with the main character of Three Houses a lot. And a lot of other characters too in it. And yeah, in general, it was a very ambitious game. Like, I would say it has the best written characters out of all the Fire Emblem games I've played. Like, they're the most fleshed out. And even if, like, at first glance, they might just seem like kind of like tropey and stuff, or have just like one emphasized character trait, like they make up for it with like, you know, interesting backstories and stuff, and like having actual like motivations and wants and goals and stuff that suit them. Because yeah, I would say like, other than like the pretty generic story of Engage, my other biggest problem with it is that the characters kind of seem a lot more like two-dimensional, especially when compared to Three Houses. But yeah, if a Fire Emblem game had like the story of Three Houses without as many like plot holes and stuff, and then also with the gameplay of Engage, that right there is like greatest game ever made. I have high hopes for Fortune Weaves, the next Fire Emblem game that's coming out in the same world as Three Houses. I have high hopes, but I will temper my expectations. When I'm really excited about an upcoming game, plot holes are so common though, so good luck with that. I mean, it depends, you know, on the game and story. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you played Three Houses, if you're specifically talking about that game, or just in general. I would say, like, yeah, a problem with Three Houses is definitely, like, the kind of, like, sometimes lack of consistency. I mean, in general, okay, yeah, that's what I figured. it definitely does take, you know, hard work and effort and a well thought out story to not have plot holes. As long as they aren't like, you know, super common and like so significant that they ruin the experience. Like, I'm fine with a few plot holes, you know. I don't need to overthink every single thing. But also, like, I do think that plot holes aren't like something that's like unavoidable by any means. Like, good well-written stories absolutely can ensure that there are no plot holes. It just takes a lot to do that. But that's what makes them good. But yeah, Three Houses, since there's 4 routes in the game, and they're all heavily subjective, like, because they always have to paint you as, you know, like the hero, right? The hero who is making the world a better place by doing whatever it is you're doing. And so that kind of inevitably leads to like a more subjective narrative, since every single route is like both the correct route and the incorrect route, you know? Where it's like, you know, sometimes maybe a character acts a bit more evil when they're your antagonist, you know, as opposed to when they're your ally. Maybe some plot details kind of change depending on like who is the person giving the exposition. Which I think like is cool, but at the same time I don't know how like intentional that was to do that in the game, or if it was just like the writers basically just trying to make you the hero in all circumstances, fighting against evil, rather than like an actual conscious decision to make the characters have like, you know, their own subjective opinions on certain matters. And while they might believe it themselves, they're stating it like as facts to the player. I don't know if how I'm describing it is making any sense, but there were wars. There were wars waged online. I was there. I was in the trenches. I was defending Edelgard. My lady. My emperor. She can do no wrong. I'm just kidding, she does do wrong sometimes, but also I still love her. What if I want to be the villain, though? Well, then you can listen to the online discourse of people calling Edelgard like a fascist or whatever they're calling her. It's died down. But back in the day, there were heated battles. Which route was best? Which character is morally correct? Which character is an evil, irredeemable fascist? And all that not so good stuff. Yeah, I mean, I have a pretty mild opinion on things like Black Eagles, like Edelgard's route is or rather Crimson Flower, I should say, is my favorite route in the game. But I also like every other route. Like the worst route is probably like the church route, because it's just like, it's just the same as Claude's route. Honestly, it's more accurate to say that like Claude's route is just the church route, but reskinned. But even still, like I still enjoyed playing through the story 4 times. Actually, more than 4 times, since I've replayed Crimson Flower probably like 3 or 4 times alone. But yeah, I like all the characters. I like all the lords. So like I'm never going to say like, oh, you support X character, you suck. But that was not uncommon for people to do. And I mean, you know, back in the day, when I myself was probably spending a bit too much time on the internet, I also had a moment that where I remember saying something along the lines of like, if you're against Edelgard, you're, I don't know what words I used, but essentially just like, if you're against Edelgard, you're a bad person. Something stupid like that, you know? Online discourse at its finest. But yeah. Possibly I cared a little bit too much about that game. And I mean, I still love it. Honestly, it's probably my favorite game, just in general. But yeah. It's by no means perfect, and you know, everybody's opinion on it is valid. People like different things. And people have different stances on, you know, how many bad deeds is still acceptable for an end goal, you know? Because at the end of the day, if there's one objective fact about Fire Emblem Three Houses, that every single character in the game is a war criminal. Every single lord is a war criminal. The main character is always a war criminal, regardless of the route. That is the one truth. And so yeah, it just depends on, you know, what flavor of morally gray do you want to follow. I think this stream might end without any progress being made. I think that is a very high possibility. I see games as entertainment. I don't worry about morals with games. Yeah, I'm mostly the same. I do like when like when a game shares my morals, you know, so like the main character kind of makes similar choices to the choices I would make. I think most people like, you know, like that, so that they can you know, connect more with the game's characters and narrative and stuff. But yeah, when it comes to like judging other people based on their preferences of video games, like that's just absolutely absurd, you know? Obviously, like there are some things that are just like straight up like illegal, you know? That type of content is obviously bad, but like, yeah, when it comes to like the vast majority of games, like trying to infer a person's like moral compass based off like the characters that they like or the games that they like is such like a stupid thing to do. But of course, that is a very common thing to do on the internet. But I do have hope that people can mature, you know? Obviously, a lot of people doing those types of arguments and stuff are just like little kids, 12-year-olds. I have hope that they will grow up and be, you know, be a little embarrassed about their previous online takes, just as I am. Well, yeah, there's an exception, of course, but in general, you should just enjoy a game for being a game. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And yeah, at the end of the day, like, it isn't real. So like, yeah, it's always like a gray zone, you know, how people judge like characters in a game and stuff. But I think like having like evil characters, you know, like obviously it's fine to like evil characters since they're fictional, and you can like them for being like a good villain, you know, that pushes the plot forward, that challenges the main character. You can like them for that reason. You can also just find them hot. You know, that's fine too. If we're lucky, the incoming generation and generations after will mature into good adults. Yeah, I really hope so. I feel like every single generation, though, like just gets more and more nihilistic, which is like unfortunate. Also, like not entirely their fault. Because like millennials were basically like the last generation to like actually have hope for the future, right? Millennials were sold on like the promise that life would be good for them. They would be able to, you know, like own a house and stuff, just like their parents. Everything was going to be fine. But then obviously things weren't fine. And a lot of people just blamed that on the millennials, even though like they didn't screw up the world. They just happened to be the generation that faced like the tipping point, essentially. The tipping point of capitalism going into late stage, more dystopian capitalism. And, you know, climate change and all of that too. But yeah, after millennials, then like every other generation is basically like not deluded into like believing that hopeful promise of a future, and are instead just like nihilistic and what's the word I'm looking for? Like uncaring. Basically. The world is screwed up, so what does it matter? You know, that sort of thinking. Which is just like unfortunate and sad to see. But honestly, like not unexpected. Yeah, everything from economy to social to how they're raised, all of it has effects on how people mature and are as adults in the end, yeah. And I mean, like, not to be like too much of a boomer and say that like all technology is bad. But I do think just the sheer amount of online activity that like modern children are exposed to, I don't think that is very healthy. Because like there's so many people trying to like take advantage, right? Of young kids who kind of lack critical thinking skills. And then beyond that, there's also just like the steep decline of like focus among children, right? Because everything is about like short 30-second clips and whatnot, right? YouTube shorts, TikTok, all that stuff. And like if that's what you're raised on, right? If you're so used to just having your brain constantly stimulated, like, yeah, like how are you gonna sit through hours on end of like a boring classroom lecture, right? Obviously, your attention is going to be scattered. And you'll have trouble focusing on actual important stuff. The internet is a great tool for learning, just being about to communicate, etc., but it's morphed into this monster of a thing. Yeah. Yeah, and just like going back to like, you know, rage bait content and all that. The trend of just trying to make people angry, more and more angry, because that gets engagement, that gets clicks and comments and stuff. And so, yeah, the people like growing up on that think that behavior is like fine. Should just be insufferable a-holes about literally everything. Yeah, the internet might have been a mistake. You also have AI making sway as well as social media. Yeah, AI is like, oh god. AI is just like pouring liters and liters of gasoline onto what was already like a dumpster fire. Why do any work when you can have AI do it for you, and it spits out something that's like good enough to get like a B. And, you know, of course, all the fake information and stuff that AI brings with it. It's actually just like rotting brains. Like brain rot stuff has been a thing, you know, for as long as the internet has been around. But nothing is rotting the brain as much as AI. Like it's literally just like destroying people's ability to think critically and independently. So much BS in this dumpster fire. Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's not just one single thing, obviously. There's a whole bunch of factors that led to this point, but yeah. I am not a fan of the end result. I say as I live stream myself playing a game online as a virtual avatar. Can this dumpster fire even be put out? Honestly, I don't know. I don't really have an answer. Like it is possible, obviously. Big companies can be regulated more. Billionaires can be taxed just like 1% of their earnings. You know, that would solve a lot of things. But whether it will actually happen, though, is a mystery. I was going to say, like, things will get worse before they get better. Which, like, is probably true, honestly, but, like, also things are already, like, bad enough. So, like, please, can they start getting better now? I'd really appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, like, I have some hope that after Trump is, like, kicked out of office, you know, hopefully he doesn't become a dictator. Fingers crossed. Everyone knows that he wants to. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But, like, there is some hope for afterwards where, like he was so bad, right? That people will kind of, like, wake up to some of the issues that we're facing. And maybe, just maybe, some politicians will actually want to improve things, you know? Even if it's just to secure votes. Maybe some changes can be made. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. I guess in good news, like, there is significant pushback against AI. Not just from not just from consumers, which is very important, but also from like copyright infringements and stuff. I think most AI companies are like losing court rulings when it comes to copyright infringement. And so, yeah, hopefully, you know, it will become harder and harder for them to steal data and like creative work from people, hopefully. And then, you know, the technology would naturally just like die out, or at least greatly reduce its scope. And then of course the other thing is that like they literally don't make any money. Like they're literally just bleeding money constantly every single day. And so surely at some point the tech bros and big corporations and stuff will open their eyes and realize, oh, maybe I shouldn't give money to this super sketchy company that literally like produces nothing of value and will like not return my investment whatsoever. You know, maybe I shouldn't give them money. One can hope. The AI tech won't go away that easily. Oh, no, for sure. Like, it's not going to disappear, but like, the thing that they want it to do is to like replace workers, right? And so in that sense, like I hope that that aspect of it, like they'll give up on. Where like, okay, they can't scrape the data of like of other companies and stuff with this AI. And so nothing it produces is like really good at all. I don't know. I agree, it would be good. It could not affect the workforce in the wrong way. Yeah. Like the, obviously it also has a very bad effect on the environment. Like it uses so much water just to cool, like the servers and stuff. But like maybe at the very least that should hopefully theoretically improve over time. You know? Surely they'll make things more efficient at some point. Obviously we still need like actual like regulation in that. the environment side. But yeah, like the other thing is just, yeah, the fact that they just want to replace workers with it. I think the only way to stop that would also just be to like have like laws in place, actual like government issued regulation to not be able to just scrape the entire internet for any and all like images and artwork. I don't know how likely that is, but I think that would definitely put a huge blow in like, yeah, that sort of plan to just like replace workers with AI. Okay, now is the time that I never miss. That doesn't count. Where I never miss a single jump going forward. Surely. Okay, so far so good. Okay, never mind. I just had to open my mouth. With something like that, it's more to do with the government care enough to put said laws in effect, yeah. And like with them getting funded and like bribed, you know, by said big companies, there would have to be some actual like changes made, you know. People who actually want to improve the world rather than just sit on top of it. I was so close to getting to the next screen. I think like the one after the next one might be the furthest I've gotten. I kind of have a hard time remembering since it's been a while. Honestly, I'm doing better than I thought I would. Like, there's a possibility that I actually make some progress. Oh, actually, wait, it's already been like 3 hours. That's usually how long my streams are. So maybe there isn't a possibility that I make progress. We'll see. I just have to activate the gamer nanomachines in my blood, you know? Have them take control and initiate the most optimal gameplay you've ever seen in your life. There's always the next time. True. One day I will finish this game. One day. No. Don't activate the nanomachines. Or no, don't drop down. Don't worry, it wasn't that big of a drop. As long as I don't get sent to like Bargenberg, we're chilling. But yeah, we have a bit more time here. I want to see if I can make some progress. But yeah, since it has been like 3 hours, which is usually the time I stream for, I will say if I do like a big drop, like if I do get sent back down to Bargenberg, that is probably where I will end it. But let's see. Oh my god, I just walked off. No, why did I just walk off? It's all falling apart. Unless... Okay, no. No unless. All right. It's time. All right. It's time. Never mind. I was wondering, actually. I was thinking about this for a while, but I never actually posed it to people. Would you rather, like, my streams are basically like, you know, the same as they are now, where I have like a stretch break every hour, whoops, and go for about 3 hours per stream? Or would you rather have, I guess probably still having small stretch breaks at hour intervals? Okay, well, we're back in Barkenberg. Still having the stretch breaks, but also having like an intermission type thing where it's like a longer break. I don't know for how long, but like maybe like 30 minutes at like the 2-hour mark, for instance, but then go for longer afterwards. I'm not sure for how long, but like if I were to have like a 30-minute break at the 2-hour mark, I could probably go for like 4 hours of stream time. So like it would be like 2 hours, then 30-minute break, and then another 2 hours afterwards. So technically it'd be like 4.5 hours would be the time I spend streaming, but yeah. Intermission might be nice. 30 minutes seems like a lot though, yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. But yeah, I wanted to ask people's opinion on that. I'm not really sure, because like, I mean, yeah, I don't know if I could do like less than 30 minutes, but then also still like stream for longer. We'll see. I'll think about it more. But yeah, I think that will do it for today. I'm fine either way. All right. Yeah, I appreciate you watching, everyone. It was nice chatting about various topics and stuff. And yeah, I need to buy some sticky notes or something. actually like write down conversation topics, and yeah, I'll try to put in a bit more effort to like actually improve my conversation skills rather than just like relying on vibes and hoping it goes well. Cause yeah, I think I tried that. It worked sometimes, but just not consistent enough, I think, to fully rely on all the time. Hope you have a good rest of the day. Thanks. Yeah, I hope everyone has a good day. Today is Saturday, so next stream will probably be Tuesday. Yeah, my D&D group is actually like, we're kind of consistently playing on Mondays now. And so yeah, my schedule I think is like, the smartest thing to do is to clean the house on Sundays going forward. And then doing laundry and playing D&D on Monday. That's kind of what I want to do going forward. And then yeah, streaming on like Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday is like pretty good. Pretty good schedule. Hope you have a good day all. Thanks, Steph. You too. But yeah, I hope, I mean, we're all just saying it now. Have a good rest of the day. Have a good rest of the weekend. Enjoy it. And I will see you probably on Tuesday. We'll see what I'm in the mood to play. It could be anything. But yeah, I'll see you then. Bye.
The way to celebrate, I'll be waiting till we make it. The day to celebrate, I'll be waiting till we make it. Oh, take the journey, we will see. Come with me, take the journey.